Hello, welcome, my dear friends, my dear community members. Welcome for this knowledge capsule segment. And it's a Friday, and I was really looking forward to meet you all on this Friday because I had a very special thing to discuss with all of you. So we all belong to early education. We all belong to this industry. But how many of us know our leaders who have done studies, research, reformations in early education from a long time? How many of them we know and how many of them we can identify? Have we ever paid our tributes to all those leaders who have made way and who have shown us path to succeed in life? So now let me take the privilege. I was waiting for this to Friday. Let me take this privilege and talk about some leaders and their reformation in the early education industry. So let me start with my slide presentation. Welcome to the knowledge capsule, and today being Friday, we shall have the session dedicated for teacher empowerment. So every Friday, my dear friends, the topic will be teacher empowerment and personal development. So I believe personal development is very important aspect that we should all look upon to. So every Friday, I will take this opportunity to empower and bring in personal development in you. And as I go ahead in my slide presentation, let's know our leaders. So the first one is Plato. So he was the person, I'm talking about 428 to 348 BC. He formulated total education system, and he was one of the person behind the reformation in education. So he was the one who laid emphasis on total education system. Socrates was his teacher and Aristotle was his student. Now just look at look at the personalities. So Plato's teacher was Socrates and his student was Aristotle, and we know what they have donated to the mankind. And next is Plato was the one who insisted on higher education. So the education was not very formal. It was very limited. It was Plato who initiated higher education system in West. It started from the West, and later the culture came to all other places. The next leader is Erasmus. So Erasmus was present between 1469 to 1536, and he was also an educational philosophist. And he strongly believed that education should make a human being a better human being. So wasn't that a wonderful thought in 1469? Education should make a human being a better human being. So that was the vision Erasmus has towards education, and he believed that education can bring in values in children or anybody. So he believed that education should be provided with value system. It is only then the child would gain the education, the holistic education, and it is from then the value education had actually started. The next is Pesterology. So now Pesterology was present between 1746 to 1827, and he is called as father of modern education. So he laid emphasis on instructional methodologies, and he was the one who initiated, or who even thought about the importance of sensorial learning and learning in nature. So till then, it was not very clear for us to understand where exactly the learning can happen. So it was Pesterology, and his methodology later came to be known as Pesterology methodology. The next is Robert Owen. I think from here we can connect very closely. It is between 1771 to 1858. Robert Owen was the founder of nursery methodologies, which we see in most of the convents. So he was the founder of nursery methodology, and he believed that education should bring character building in children. All these wonderful thoughts, all these wonderful seeds which was sown by these leaders, today we are availing the benefit. So all of them, from nowhere, from nothing, they understood what is required for the children. Now imagine if one person had taught that education should bring in character building in children. Now we are reaping the rewards. Robert Owen was the person who believed that children below 6 years, till then early education or below 6 education was not considered much, but it is only Robert Owen insisted that children below 6 years should also get a formal education. So that is how the whole concept of convent came up. So he started his own school as well, and he was the one who initiated training the teachers. So till then there was no proper training module for teachers. Nobody even bothered how a teacher should be trained, what are the values, what are the things that the teacher should be knowing. It was Robert Owen who initiated training the teachers, who would in turn train their students below 6 in a formal way. So this is all about Robert Owen and the nursery methodology. And the next person is Fredrich Frabel. So it was Frabel, and now again we can connect to this person very, very closely because he is the founder of kindergarten in the years 1782 to 1852. 1782 to 1852, yes, he was present in that time, and he was the founder of kindergarten methodology. Friedrich lost his mom in a very, very young age, and he spent most of his time in gardens. So as he grew, he understood the benefits of learning outdoor, learning in nature, learning with environment, and he now was very, very he had conviction that this was the best way for us to handle our kids. So he came up with his own school known as Children's Garden, which later became kindergarten. He laid the importance of cognitive and emotional skills in children. He was the one who also initiated that the child should be free to learn what he loves. And also Frobel has designed some beautiful learning aids, teaching aids, which is being used all over the world, and it is called as Frobel's Gifts. And moving ahead, next is Maria Montessori. I think I cannot complete this in next 2-3 minutes. So I may need one full session for hours together to talk about Dr. Maria Montessori, her life, her studies, her research, her ways of education. Believe me, it's an ocean. So I'm sure all of you might be knowing. So let's just put light on some important things. Dr. Maria Montessori, the first lady doctor of Italy, founded the Montessori methodology, which mainly advocates the involvement of senses and motor. It becomes sensomotor learning. That was the thing. She was the one who used all the senses, gave a very, very clear evidence on using sensorial way in our classrooms with the motor development. And the very important principle that she laid was of self-development, self-independence or self-resilience in the child. So that was very, very important principle that Dr. Maria Montessori laid. So now you can Google. I'm sure most of you might be knowing the rest of the things. If not, please put it in the comment box if you want to know more about this methodology, this lady, her research, her studies. I would be more than happy to do an exclusive session on Montessori education. The next, let's go to Jean Pigott. So now between 1896 to 1980, and this person was responsible for playway method and cognitive, and he was the person who developed cognitive development theory. Again, my dear friends, it's very, very important. I cannot say about the cognitive development in one session. Again, if you're interested to know what is cognitive emotional development, which have different stages from 0 to 14 years. So if you put it in the comment box, I will be more than happy to share the cognitive and emotional development which Pigott has stated. But for today, I'm going to tell you that he was the one who again laid importance on sensomotor development, and in his research he has given 4 very, very important stages which the child undergo between 0 to 2, 2 to 7 years, 7 to 11 years, 14 years and above. So he has given a complete study. If you want to know more, please type it in the comment box. He was the one who formulated the cognitive development theory, which we all are banking on today. So whenever we want to know about the milestone, we go back to this theory, relate with this theory, understand from this theory, and come back to our classroom. So please do write to me if you want to know more about this. And now let me go ahead and introduce this person. He is none other than our own Ghijabhai Badeka, who was more famously called as Muchali Ma. Yes, it is in 1885 to 1939. Ghijabhai Badeka was an advocate by profession, but he, after becoming a father, when he wanted to educate his child and when he understood the gaps that was prevailing then, got influenced by the Montessori education system, which was present in outside India. It was not available for us in India. It was only Ghijabhai Badeka who went and brought Dr. Montessori to India and propagated Montessori system in India. Ghijabhai Badeka believed that stories are very, very powerful element for us to use to teach in our classrooms. He has written loads and loads of stories. You can search in Google. Once Upon a Time, I think, is one of the book released by ECA, Early Childhood Association, written by Dr. Swati Popat-Watts. So if it is possible, please go through that book. It's a wonderful book wherein you will understand how to engage children in classrooms using stories. More famously, he was known as Muchali Ma because he became mother for his son. He even gave up his profession and he completely involved in early education along with Dr. Maria Montessori. And the next person is now the lady, the then graduate in 1898 to 1973. This is Tarabai Modak. She was graduate in her years and she was the one who founded Balwadis and Anganwadis. So all the Balwadis and Anganwadis which is working around was founded by Tarabai Modak, and she also emphasized on outdoor learning and giving the freedom of choice in learning. She also involved herself a lot in child development and women empowerment, and finally she gained a Padma Shri award. So now these are all the people who have paved the path for us to travel ahead, use all the knowledge, all the research, all the studies that they have done. Please go back, Google it, find more, because everybody's study, everybody's life itself is a course for us to do. So Google more about these people. And today, let's take this opportunity to pay our tributes to all these wonderful leaders and reformation. I also had the code of ethics to discuss, but as we are running out of time, I will take up this code of ethics in my next session, and I shall also in my next session give you a comparative table of 3 methodologies. What is Montessori methodologies? What is nursery methodology? And what is kindergarten methodology? What are the pros and cons? So we will have a comparative table to study the pros and cons in these 3 methodologies. Along with that, we should also know what would be the code of honor of this community. Yes, my dear friends, I know this community is growing. Thank you so much for all the likes, all the shares, all the comments. Believe me, every night I look at it. So thank you so much. And let me tell you very soon that we will be having a closed group, wherein you will need access to come to that group. And probably after 1 week, I will be posting all my videos in that closed group. So we will send you an intimation for that. Don't forget to get into that closed group. We'll plan for many activities there in that closed group. So with all these things, we have completed 1 week from Monday to Friday. It was wonderful for me to share so many things with you. I only request you to pray for me to take up this throughout this year, throughout 2021. I must be able to make videos every day for you people. So thank you so much, loads and loads of love to all of you watching there. Thank you so much. I wish each one of you a very, very happy learning. Tata, bye bye. See you tomorrow.